Chapter 12 of The People of Sparks. So, Lena is brushing the floor of the doctor's house when she hears a thump and Casper's voice, though she doesn't know it's Casper at the time, until Torin comes rushing through like, "Casper, you're home!" So Lena drops stuff and goes to the door, and Torin's like, "Casper, you've gone so long this time." And he's like, "Well, yeah, being a roamer is hard work. I had to extend my route farther this time, and that's why it took so long." Lena describes him as having some resemblance to Torin, but while she described Torin's head as being like squished, his was wide and sort of babyish, except for his curly mustache. And he's like, he sees Dr. Hester and he's like, "Auntie Hester!" And like stands like this until she comes over and he picks her up and she's like, "I told you not to do that." And he's like, "What? You're light as a feather." And she's like, "No, I'm not. You're just showing off your big muscles." And he's like, "Well, I do have impressive muscles." And then he flexes them. He's like, and then Torin's like, "Casper, did you bring me a surprise?" And he's like, "Oh, right. Well, it's a sort of surprise for everybody." And he reveals a girl named Maddie as a surprise. Torin just stood there in silence as he learned that Maddie was Casper's roaming partner. Then he makes a joke about mole people when he sees Lena and recalls the tales he heard of people coming from underground. Then Torin finally speaks up to Casper, saying, "But I'm supposed to be your partner." And Casper's like, "But you're too small." And Torin's like, "No, I'm not. I'm almost 11." And Casper's like, "I'm sorry, you're too little." And Torin storms off, all mad and everything. And then Casper describes going on a super secret mission to some city. That night, Casper talked a great deal about his exploits. Apparently, he found some cabins with glass still in them. Took him 4 days to get the glass out, and he cut his hand pretty badly, but he was very proud of it. He also found an ancient statue of a bird that only had one leg and was painted pink, that also had a long neck. And then he fought off some bandits and found artificial flowers. And Lena asked Dr. Hester, "Casper has an uncanny knack for finding things?" And Dr. Hester's like, "He has an uncanny knack for finding the wrong things. Artificial flowers when there are real flowers growing all around." And she said he was always a bit odd. He always wanted to be famous, even though he already sort of was, but he wanted a different kind of fame. Lena listened a bit while Casper talked about his roaming adventures while Torin sat next to him. Lena was disappointed that Casper did not talk about all the interesting stuff, like the scenery, everything that was there, what it all looked like. Instead, Casper talked about how brave and clever he had been and all the injuries he had gotten finding things. Then the doctor sends Lena off to get some bandages, which Lena had forgotten to do, and to collect some mustard plants. Lena, while thinking it's too hot to do anything, overhears a conversation between Casper and Maddie about going to the city. She then has an idea that the people of Ember came up from underground for the express purpose of finding, fixing, and repopulating this old city. And the chapter ends.